You know that feeling when you're waiting for motivation to strike? It feels like lightning, right? Powerful, super rare, and you have no idea when it's going to show up. We wait around for that magical feeling to get started, but what if that's the totally wrong way to think about it? Okay, let's get into this, because today we're going to flip the script on motivation. It's not a feeling you wait for, it's a system you build. It's the habit of remembering what you actually want.
So, here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll talk about the motivation trap and why we all fall for it. Then, we'll dig into our brain's ancient wiring to see why we get so stuck. After that, we're building our way out with two amazing tools, the habit of reflection and the science of habit. And to wrap it all up, we'll put everything together into a practical system you can start using like today.
All right, so let's start with the scene we all know way too well. You're staring at a task, you know you should be doing it, and you just don't. You're waiting for that spark, that urge to just get it done, but it never shows up. That, right there, is the motivation trap.
I mean, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? If we know what we need to do, why is it so ridiculously hard to keep that fire going day in and day out? It can feel like a real personal failure. But the answer, well, it turns out it has very little to do with you personally.
And here's the wild part. This is not a personal failing. An executive coach pointed this out in Forbes, saying that even the most successful people you can imagine, we're talking CEOs, top surgeons, high-powered attorneys, they struggle with this too. They put off making slide decks and skip their Peloton workouts, just like the rest of us. So the big takeaway here is this isn't some character flaw. It's just part of being human.
So, if it's a human thing, what's actually causing it? Well, to break the trap, we gotta look under the hood at the thing running the show, our own brain. Let's explore the ancient wiring that explains why we so often just don't do the things we know we should.
And you might want to sit down for this, but procrastination isn't actually laziness. Nope. It's your brain's ancient survival instinct totally misfiring in our modern world. Your brain is just trying to keep you safe and alive. And thousands of years ago, this instinct worked like a charm. Today, not so much.
At its very core, it's actually super simple. We are hardwired to do two things: seek out pleasure and avoid pain. That's it. So we unconsciously lean toward comfort, staying in the warm bed, watching one more episode. And we pull away from discomfort, like starting a tough workout or tackling that big project. This kept our ancestors alive, but today it just needs us straight into procrastination.
This brings us right to the heart of why changing our behavior is so tough. Neuroscience has this fantastic analogy for it. Building a brand new habit is a lot like trying to cut a path through a super dense jungle for the very first time.
Imagine that first trip. It's a total struggle, right? You're hacking away with a machete. It takes a ton of effort and focus. That is a perfect picture of what's happening in your brain when it fires a new pattern of neurons. It's supposed to feel like hard work.
But here's the magic. Every single time you walk that same path, it gets just a little bit easier. The weeds get trampled down, the path gets wider, and eventually, that tough jungle path turns into a paved, 6-lane highway. The action becomes automatic. It's effortless. You've literally rewired your brain, and now the habit is the path of least resistance.
Okay, so if our brain is always going to default to the easy path, the existing highway, how do we find the energy to start carving out a new one? This is where our big idea comes in. We need a habit of remembering. And we do this through reflection, the simple practice of consciously reconnecting with what we want and why it matters to us.
You know, Leo Babauta, the guy who founded Zen Habits, he put it perfectly. Reflection is not just passive, staring at the wall stuff. It's an active process. For him, it's literally where all his ideas and his content come from. Reflection lets you learn from your mistakes and celebrate your wins, and that gives you the clarity and the fuel to keep going.
And here's a super simple but really powerful way to start. It's called the 3 good things exercise. At the end of your day, just write down 3 things that went well. Then, and this is the most important part, think about why they happened. What does that little win mean for your future? It's so simple, and this one practice has been shown to boost happiness for up to 6 months.
And you don't have to wait around to feel the effects. I mean, check this out. Research shows that a staggering 60% of people report feeling more self-aware after journaling for just 5 days. 5! That's a huge return for a tiny, tiny investment of your time. It gives you that clarity you need to stay on track.
And the benefits just keep on piling up. When you regularly take time to reflect and journal, you reduce stress, you boost your creativity because your ideas have a place to live. You enhance your memory, and, this is a big one for motivation, you build a real, tangible record of your progress.
It gives you that sense of accomplishment that keeps you going. So reflection gives us our why, but we still need the how. So let's shift gears to the second part of our solution, getting into the science of habit, so we can turn those intentions into automatic actions, building those neural highways we were talking about.
So according to James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, every single habit we have, whether it's good or bad, runs on the exact same simple 4-step feedback loop.
It always starts with a cue, which is just a trigger that tells your brain, hey, do that thing. That cue then leads to a craving, which is the motivational engine behind the habit. The craving drives the behavior itself, which finally leads to a reward. And that reward satisfies the craving and tells your brain, hey, that was good, let's remember this loop for next time.
Now here's where it gets really cool. We don't have to fight our brain's wiring, we can actually work with it. To build a good habit, we just have to rig this loop in our favor. James Clear gives us 4 simple laws for that. Make the cue obvious, make the craving attractive, make the behavior easy, and make the reward satisfying. This is literally the blueprint for making good habits feel inevitable.
Okay, we have covered a lot: the problem, the brain science, and the core ideas of reflection and habit building. So now let's bring it all home and put it together into a practical system you can use to build that unstoppable motivation.
This first tool is an absolute game changer for that third law, make it easy. It's called the 2-minute rule. Whatever your goal is, just shrink it down until it takes less than 2 minutes to do. So read 30 books this year becomes read 1 page. Run a marathon becomes put on my running shoes. See, the point isn't about getting results in 2 minutes. It's about mastering the habit of just showing up.
And you should never, ever underestimate the power of just making your intentions clear. Even something as simple as planning can have a massive impact. Research has shown that you are 42% more likely to achieve your goals just by writing them down. 42%. Why? Because it makes the cue for your new habit obvious, and it gets your brain ready for action.
And finally, let's nail that 4th law. Make it satisfying. One of the best ways to do this is with a simple habit tracker. Every time you do your habit, you get that immediate little rush of satisfaction from checking off a box. It creates this awesome visual chain of your progress, and your only goal becomes, don't break the chain. It's simple, it's motivating, and it just flat out works.
So let's bring it all back home. Motivation is not lightning in a bottle that you have to wait for. It's a system you build, and it's grounded in these simple habits of remembering what you want and then repeating the actions that get you there. Just remember, the feeling of motivation is a result of starting. It's not a requirement to start. So I'll leave you with this question. What is the one tiny 2-minute action you can take right now to start building that system for yourself?